Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a page in my Dina Wakley journal today, and it's almost completely filled up, and then we'll do a flip. But before I started, I often get a lot of comments about my nails, so I just wanted to tell you these glittery delights are from Color Street, and Carissa from Inky Fairy Designs sent these to me, and they're like I guess they're called nail wraps, but they just kind of stick on. I mean, it's super easy to do. You just bloop, stick them on and file off the excess, and that's it. And then there's no drying time, which I always jacket them up when there's drying time involved. So if you're a nail person like me, I will leave the link down below so you can check them out. Super cool. I'm a little obsessed. So, yep, link down below, and let's get started. So I'm starting out with some Dina Wakley Media in Mineral, and I'm just going to put a little bit down on my page, and then I also have some Aloe, and I'm just going to slap that down on my page and just really haphazardly with a big fat paintbrush, add a little bit of water to get things kind of moving, put that all over because I want to add some tissue paper collage sheets, and this is the Dina Wakley collage sheets, and it has like white print on it. So when you put some color behind it, you can theoretically see the images in white, but the colors that I used were not dark enough, so you can't see so you can't see the writing anyway. But I just applied some bits with Collage Page Matte, and then I'm going to go in with Apricot, and Heather, Dina Wakley Media acrylics, and I'm gonna add a little bit of that, and I'm gonna take a stencil by Dina Wakley and a baby wipe and remove the paint through the stencil just to get a little extra interest and texture going in the background. And then I'm also gonna take well, I showed you Heather, but this actually looks like the mineral, so yeah. So I'm going to take the mineral, not the Heather, and do the same thing, removing the paint from my stencil with a baby wipe. And then I'm going to take some archival ink and watering can, which is just a nice light gray color, and do a little stamping in the background. I have two Viva Las Vegas stamps that are just kind of like "you are awesome" type quotes. The one says there's a universe inside you, and the other one is like a quote about perseverance, and that's a cat cur for VLVS. And I'm stamping them not really so that you can read them per se, but just for a little bit extra going on in the background. And then I'm going to take one of these faces from the Dina Wakley Media collage sheets, and I'm going to stick her down to my page, but first I'm kind of get rid of like the box that's around her and rip some pieces off. I don't really know why I did that. I could have very easily just added the whole thing. So I'm going to take my Collage Page Matte and put a thin layer on my page, put my girl down, and then put a little more of the Collage Page on top, and I'm using a palette knife so I can really smooth out that tissue paper. I don't want this tissue paper to have any kind of like creases or crinkles or anything in it. So then once that's dry, I'm going to go in with, oh, there's the Heather. There it is. I'm going to go in with the mineral and the Heather, and what I'm trying to do is, her hair is very intense, and I'm trying to kind of tone it down a little and push it back a little. So I'm just going to do some more of the reduction stenciling with that same stencil I used in the background, and my two pink colors. And then to work on her face a little bit, I'm going to take a little bit of buff. This is Dina Wakley as well. And here it is. It's the buff. And then I also have a little bit of sand. And I'm just going to use those two colors to make her face more facey. Colored more like a face, I guess we should say. So I'm just going to everything is very loose and very like sketchy, so I'm just kind of like with my paintbrush just kind of moving it around, not really trying to be too precise. I'm not worried about covering up lines or anything. And then I'm going to take one of my Derwent ink Tense blocks, and this is like a brown color, and I'm just gonna add in some shadows where I think they would be, and then whatever paint was left over on my paintbrush. The ink Tense blocks are water soluble, so the paint is kind of like activating that brown color and kind of helping to fade it out a little bit. And I'm just going to sketchily add those lines in until I'm kind of happy with the way that it looks. And then I'm going to take my Stabilo Marxol water-soluble black pencil, and I'm going to add in those lines that I kind of covered up with the paint. And I'm just following the face that's already there, really sketchily adding those lines in. It's really easy, in my opinion, to do things in this way, sketchy, because then it doesn't matter if things are precise, and I don't know, I just kind of, it makes it easier, and I really like that look. So for her eyeballs, I'm going to add a little bit of turquoise, a nice bright color. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of that Stabilo around in her eyes. And her nose got jacked up looking. Yeah, so then I'm going to add a quote sticker by Tim Holtz. And I'm just going to trim it down a little bit. And once I decide where I really want it to go, I'm going to outline it with my Stabilo. And then I can activate the Stabilo with water to kind of feather out that color a little bit. And then I'm going to add some scribble journaling down there at the bottom where the collage sheet had scribble journaling, but it got covered up with my paint and everything. So I'm just going to do my own and add it in. And then I thought that I was done. I even thumbed up and waved. But as I was taking the still photos, I was like, this is like really... I mean, it was okay, but I really wanted a little more color and excitement going on. So I decided to go back in and work on her some more. So I'm going to take my turquoise and this teardrop, raindrop stencil and do some more of that reduction stenciling. I'm going to go in with some lime, because I love turquoise and lime together. So good. But the problem is the Stabilo is water reactive, so the paint that I'm adding on top is activating that and kind of muddying up my paint and smearing all over the place. So I just took a baby wipe and tried as best as I could to wipe up the Stabilo. It didn't take it away completely, but it took it away enough where it's not gonna mess up any more of the layers that I put on top, hopefully. So then I'm going to take a little bit of white gesso and do some legit stenciling with that same teardrop, water drop stencil. And then I'm going to go in with my umber scribble stick. Yeah, my umber scribble stick. I'm sorry, I got confused or thrown off because I don't know why the screen went dark for a second there. I'm just going to activate that with some water, and then while that's still wet, I'm going to take some of that sand color and add some highlights in, and then I'm going to add some blushing to her lips, and whatever was left on my paintbrush I put a little on her cheeks. And then I'm going to take some Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus watercolor in quinacridone magenta, which is a lot to say. It's very intense, so I'm going to put a little bit out on my craft sheet and add water to it to kind of water it down a little, and I'm just going to do like a little veil kind of like around her eyes. I've been kind of obsessed with this artist, Toni Burt, I think her name is, and she does these faces where she puts like color like this around their eyes. Oh, love it so much. So I wanted to try it for myself. I will put her Instagram handle down below so you can check her out too if you're unfamiliar with who she is. So I'm going to dry that side, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing to the right side, and I'm going to go right over that word sticker. And then I'm going to go in with some Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink in orange. Now, India ink is permanent, whereas watercolor is not. So the reason I chose the India ink as opposed to an orange watercolor is I wanted something a little more opaque than the watercolor. And then I'm going to take this cut apart sheet by Maremi Small Art Technique paper set pack. And they're these little tiny butterflies, and it has like green and teal that matched my page perfectly. So I'm just going to pop that puppy right underneath her eye. And then I'm going to take some circles. So this is a piece of deli paper. It's left over from, you guys, I was bubbling over inside waiting to tell you, your girl is teaching at Lifebook 2020. I couldn't even wait to tell you guys. I'm so excited, but I couldn't tell you until now. So before Lifebook registration opens and everything, there is what's called the Lifebook Wellbeing Summit, and it's a free event for anybody, and all the artists that are teaching for Lifebook got interviewed, and we all did projects. And there's also like a gift bag. Every artist contributed a free gift for you guys. I mean, it's a super awesome event, and it's free, the best part. So I will leave the link down below so you can sign up for that. I encourage you to, because you don't have anything to lose. It's free and it's really awesome. So that will be down below. Super excited for that. So yeah, I'm also doing some stenciling with this Maremi Small Art stencil and some white gesso. And then I'm going to take my titanium Liquitex ink, and I just want to add some kind of like blobby veiled areas over her face. And then I'm also going to add like the catch light to her eyes and everything. This step is kind of subtle, but I don't know. I think it adds like a little something when you're looking at it. Oh, if you have any questions about the Lifebook Summit or anything, you can leave them down below. And I often don't get a chance to answer or reply to all my comments, but I really try to answer questions if they come through. So if you have any questions, you can let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So that bottom corner was really bothering me. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't working with the rest of the page for me. So I'm going to take my teeny brayer and some white gesso and kind of brayer some areas over the writing. And then I added a little bit like around the whole outside of the page, just so it would like be cohesive. And then I wasn't happy with the braying at the bottom, so I wiped some of that away with a baby wipe and added it back in. And then I'm going to take some lime and add that over the white, because once I added the brayering, it just looked too white down there. I don't know why, because I'm looking at it, I was looking at it here, and it wasn't bothering me as much as when I was working on it. But so then I'm also going to add some turquoise and do some reduction stenciling as well. And then I'm going to take my Stabilo Marxall again and add in those lines that got lost from working on it with the paints and stuff. Just very loosely adding them in. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of that journaling back in. And I keep 3 sharpened Stabilos next to me so that when one gets dull, I can just grab another one and not have to waste time sharpening them. So as a final finishing touch, I'm going to add some splatters with my black India ink. And that's it for my page. So here is what it looked like when I first stopped. And then here's what it looks like now. I like it so much better. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Links down below for the Lifebook Summit. Please sign up. You won't regret it. I guarantee it. And also links for the Color Street Nails if you're interested in checking those out as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye, guys.